okay?
That is
there are ways that you can.
true.
There are ways that I know that if you speak slow, it feels like you make a good point, but you're not.
You
Love,
lie.
I want to do that, but
You lie to the advantage of the right.
Just-
while you're claiming here to be a progressive because it suits you. I
In
didn't
a
run.
way that was
I
really
didn't
over
run.
the top.
I didn't run. I
Okay.
didn't run. I
Okay.
didn't run.
That's,
I didn't run.
But I think if you, and please let
I
me just,
didn't.
Do you think, yeah,
Go ahead.
Brianna?
no, go ahead.
So if somebody says that they are offended by the stupid Hogwarts game, whatever the fuck, and they don't want people to buy it, is that advocacy? Because they tell people what to do, or do they need to put a paragraph where they say why it's bad and then they're advocates? Like, how do we...
I mean, if you say something like, oh, like it sucks that so many people are buying the Hogwarts game, I think that's whatever. But as soon as you start like giving commands to the public, yeah, you're advocating for something, right? I don't think anybody should buy this game. It makes you transphobic. I don't think anybody should buy this game. It's a test of character. If you support trans people, you can't. These are like advocacy messages. And I think with social media, anybody can be an advocate.
Better and for worse, to be honest. Brianna,
I disagree, but...
Yeah,
Well, wait, what?
I
How
mean,
can you
if
disagree with that?
If you have shared social goals, like that is enough to be able to put the onus on people. If people are saying like, hey, like we have these shared social goals, we're gonna do this, and you're like, wait, hold up, this is counterproductive. Like, yeah.
But putting the onus on people is precisely the same kind of command as the former. Which one prevails? I don't know.
I feel like,
there's no firm
wait,
rule about
what?
this.
What do you mean? Which one prevails? It depends on which message ultimately becomes more popular.
I know, Stephen. But which one becomes more popular is not within the power of the person who is proposing whatever.
I feel like you have this a magical ability to say nothing every time you talk. I don't understand what you're saying. Like, there's no guarantee that if you advocate for something, there's no guarantee.
That's probably why you ran until you had 3 wingmen.
Okay. I don't know why you're like making this weird assumption that like anybody here is saying you can guarantee a certain type of outcome when you do some advocacy. There is no guarantee. Sometimes you advocate for things, sometimes you fail. Sometimes you might advocate for things and fail for those things, and then it actually hurts your movement. But that's all part of advocacy.
Because unless you can, then saying we need to enforce or we need to exert social pressure on has no meaning.
But you don't know. But you don't know. You don't know if you can until you try, right? Nobody knew that we could do anything with trans stuff until you try. Nobody knew we could do anything with black people or women's suffrage until you try. Like, you can't just say like these things.
We absolutely had people saying, "Hey guys, cool it down with the gay shit. It's going to offend the centrists and the conservatives too much. It's going to hurt the movement."
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, but
if we
that
followed
but
your
that doesn't
advice,
mean-
we wouldn't have gotten here.
That is absolutely not true. Okay.
That is
there are ways that
absolutely
you can.
true.
There are ways that I know that if you speak slow, it feels like you make a good point, but you're not. There are ways you can
No,
advocate.
if I speak slow, I become audible through whatever it is you think you're
Destiny
doing.
Hey, Sunday, let Destiny fish, and then you can respond. I'll give you all the time in the world to respond. But
It's
you
so
gotta
much
let
more
Destiny
fun when you can make the snide comments in the middle of every single thing I say, though. You can achieve social movements by advocating for certain things, and you can also set back social movements by advocating for certain things. For instance, there were huge disagreements in the black community over whether or not there should be violence at protests. MLK was a big believer in nonviolent protests, and they enforced it socially. Before every protest, they'd line people up. They would gather any type of blunt object, any type of knife or whatever, because they didn't even want to run the risk of that happening. There were violent protests after MLK died, and people argue that those violent protests are the things that swung elections, that a lot of people like Nixon get elected post MLK's death. So like, there are good ways to advocate for things, there are bad ways to advocate for things, and bad ways to advocate for things lead to generally bad like outcomes in relation to what we want, and good ways to advocate for things lead to good things that we want. I mean, it's as simple as that. So I think that like, just because you want to police a movement doesn't necessarily mean you disagree with the goals afterwards, or you disagree with the things the movement is trying to effect. It just means that you want to like go about it in a way that's going to lead to the outcomes you're looking for to be more likely to be affected, I think.
If the thing you're advocating for has the effect of disadvantaging the movement you're ostensibly advocating for, then your actions are against the movement.
Give me an
Why,
example
hold on,
of
wait,
that.
why do you always ask? You're smart enough to know the words that you're saying, so why do you beg the question so hard? Why would you utter this sentence? Hold on, I'm just so curious. Why would you say, if you advocate for things that hurt your movement? I'm not advocating for things that hurt. Obviously, I don't think that.
No. There are the words that you say, and there are things that the words do, and sometimes these are not related to each other. Sometimes, for example, a true statement said at the wrong time. Sorry?
Sunday, can I try?
No, I want to know what he was asking. What part was confusing him?
Well, I think it's
asking
confusing all of
Steven.
us. Okay, I think we're all confused because I want to know, can you give me a specific example of something someone either on this panel or someone you know, doesn't have to be on this panel, has advocated for that is hurting progressive causes?
Well, as a case in point, Stephen was caught in a lie last year, pretty categorically. He insisted that he couldn't positively engage with leftists on the grounds that there was an overwhelming number of progressive of professors and faculty being removed from universities by progressive activists. He required his entire community to assemble a list of roughly 8 people. And when he started studying them himself, he laid bare 2 things. First of all, he wasn't familiar with any of these, which means that the statement that he had the evidence of an overwhelming number of professors and faculty being removed from universities is evidence that he couldn't engage positively with the left was a lie, because he had never done such. And secondly, that this was actually not taking place. So in effect, what he was doing by saying that was actually giving weight to a right-wing talking point, and in the course of criticizing the movement was actually giving fuel to the right as it was persecuting the left.
Wow.
I fail to see how he was advocating for something there, though. Like,
what do you mean how he was advocating for something?
What was he advocating
He declared that professors were being persecuted in schools and were being removed to an overwhelming degree.
If you think he was wrong, he was wrong. But that wasn't advocacy. That was an observation.
No, that wasn't an observation. No, you're actually missing the point. It wasn't just yes, because it wasn't an observation. Because he didn't know. He didn't know of any examples. He had to go through them one after the other. It was a lie. When he said he had an overwhelming number of them, it was a lie. That's a claim that he has evidence. That's a claim that he has evidence in reserve.
Destiny,
that was a lie.
I don't want to make this like a weird personal battle. Although I know
this is not personal.
That you
lie.
Want to do that, but
you lie to the advantage of the right. While you're claiming here to be a progressive because it suits you, while you're directing audience flow to the likes of Nick Fuentes and Lawrence Southern.
I could only be so lucky. Just to be clear, it wasn't that I had quote-unquote no examples. It's that I'd read a lot of articles and I had a lot of examples, but I didn't have them collected in one place. So I wanted to do like a formal thing before.
Of the examples you provided, you got stuck on the first one. None of the others counted, and even if I grant the first one, your claim was an overwhelming number. You have one. If I grant Brett Weinstein, and we definitively show that it was false.
I don't think we're here to relitigate that entire conversation. Is that what we came here for?
No, we're not. You already ran. This is settled.
Okay.
It's settled. You fled already.
Whatever. Let's move on.
Actually, can I just say, I watched this debate twice in preparation for this. I actually, Sunday, in my view, I think you're being a little less charitable. I mean, Destiny is making a point about why these conversations are important. Why he does that. I don't necessarily completely agree with that logic.
Then he should not. Then he look. Sure. Hey, if that's all he was doing, then he should not have agreed to debate.
I just watched it, and I don't. That's not the impression I got from it. That it was
then he shouldn't. Then he shouldn't have agreed to debate, and having found that he wasn't prepared for it, fled silently. He didn't quit.
But didn't you flee from one of the debates with Destiny? Because I was watching this clip in preparation. So y'all had a discussion, and Destiny was talking. You were attacking him in the same way. And Destiny essentially made the point, well, you got to take it one step further. Anyone who's associated with me that could make you complicit in this as well. And you go, is that
which
true?
Which Brianna?
Sir, enjoy
which
your
Brianna?
Game.
Which Brianna?
Yes, it's
Brianna.
Brianna.
Which
Yes.
Brianna?
Brianna.
Brianna.
Yes, you can call me Bree. You can call me Bree.
Bree.
Yes.
That's bullshit, though. That's bullshit. I do not direct a disproportionate audience flow to the profit of a right winger. When I engage with somebody on the right. Destiny absolutely does. When Destiny talks to Nick Fuentes, when Destiny has just a chummy lunch of chicken and waffles with Nick Fuentes, he allows Nick Fuentes to sell himself on his natural charisma against the critiques that have been levied against him.
If I may ask, do you think maybe Sunday, right, that some of these hypercritical positions you take against members of the community is maybe actually harming progressive causes, like being hypercritical of Destiny, hypercritical of
me and Destiny are not in a community. Destiny is a media clinger on. He's not a member of any community. We
absolutely inhabit the same spaces. He is much bigger than all of us here, right?
By YouTube, what are you referring to? YouTube's not a community either.
Let me try this. We are all here at some form or fashion or another tend to advocate for progressive causes to varying degrees, right? We may not agree all the time. So when I say community, that is what I think
when the person Destiny was canvassing for was forced to disavow him on the grounds that he was saying that he'd be fine with rednecks
murdering black
fire
people
on the protesters.
Yes. So based.
I don't think we're a part of the same community at all.
Let me ask. Well, let me ask.
I don't
the
think
rest
we
of the panel.
advocate for progressive causes either.
Let me ask the rest of the panel. Do you think what Sunday is doing right now is helping progressive causes? Is he being an effective advocate for progressivism right now on this channel by coming after people and being hypercritical? What do you think?
Sunday, I really honestly have to tell you, my statement there, and please just let me say this and finish. My statement there is you're accusing Destiny of running away from debates.
Yes, I
there's
am.
There's a very clear video out there anyone can watch of you running from a debate with him in a way that was really over the top.
I didn't run.
Okay.
I didn't run.
Okay.
I didn't run.
That's
I
fine.
didn't run.
But I think if you, and please let me just,
I
sir,
didn't run.
please let
but
me
you're
get my
wrong.
point out.
Bree.
I'm trying to be
didn't run.
respectful here. Just let me get my point out. You can refute it. I do think that I think that I was very frustrated with the video that you brought out about Kyla.
I understand you're very desperate
You got
to
to.
be well
Okay, I'm going to
received by
mute
this
you
community.
until that she finishes. Go ahead.
Thank you very
Brianna.
much.
Wow, more progressive censorship. Sorry.
No, I was very frustrated with this video that you put out, and I think this is a really good example of somehow progressives we can get.
I hope everyone enjoyed this talk. It was a conversation, and to be clear with you, I don't think it was unproductive. I think we had some substantive discussion. I enjoyed it, and I hope everyone else did too.
Have a good night.
Okay, I want to give everyone. God damn it!
No.
What?
He
Okay,
ran.
so
Oh no.
at least he waited to the end. I'll turn off these damn nameplates. I'll leave the Wick one because I like the Wick one.
A lot of people get really triggered on the left when I say that, but it's so true, isn't it?
Believe more politically than you ever will. So
Chill, damn.
maybe you give some
We're
advice
not to
on
be so mean in here. You guys are so mean.